what should I look at? What is the first thing I should look at if I want to judge the quality of a human being? He says, وَلَكِنْ أُنظُرُوا إِلَى صِدْقِ الْحَدِيثِ وَأَدَاءِ الْأَمَانَةِ. He says, the first thing you should look at is this person truthful, and does he fulfill his trusts? Does he have the basic elements of ethics and morality? Because if he's praying, he's going to Hajj, he's reciting Salatul Layl, and over again he's saying, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyaka na'budu wa Iyaka nasta'in. Allah, you are master of the day of judgment. I submit to you, I seek your help. But it's not translating into him feeling the presence of God in his life, and he's still stealing and cheating from people. Then what was the point? He says, look at their truthfulness and their trustworthiness. Did they accomplish the basic element and foundational levels of the ultimate goal? That's why when Rasulullah, when he wanted to first openly preach his message at the age of 40, in Mecca, near the Kaaba, when he gets on the top of the mountain, Jabal Abu Qubais, what does he tell the people? What does he ask them? He says, if I was to tell you right now, all you Meccans that you've known me for 40 years, if I told you there's a caravan behind this mountain that is going to come and attack us, would you believe me? They said, of course. Anta sadiqul ameen. You're truthful. You're trustworthy. We've never seen you lie. You've had the ultimate character for 40 years. We have no reason not to believe you. Then Rasulullah says, then bear witness. There is no God but one, and I am his messenger. That's why Allah says in the Quran, by the way, about the Meccans, يَعْرِفُونَهُ كَمَا يَعْرِفُونَ أَبْنَاءَهُم. They recognize Rasulullah like they recognize their own children. Meaning they knew this was the messenger of God. It's not like they were not convinced and the arguments were not strong enough and logically it did not make sense to them. Allah says they knew him like they knew their own sons. They had no reason not to believe in him. They've never seen the man lie or cheat for 40 years. There is no reason not to believe in him. But what kept them from believing in him? It was their own moral vices, the desire of arrogance, the desire for power, losing control. So then they made him public enemy number one. So Rasulullah is telling us, the first thing you should look at when you see a human being is not just does he perform rituals, not just does he pray. All of those are good, but they are a means towards the ultimate goal, which is makarimul akhlaq, reaching the peaks of nobility, reaching the peaks of humanity. And that's why when you and I engage in these gatherings and we engage in these commemorations, and in the months of Muharram and Safar, you know, we engage in all of these marches and we walk in the streets of Manhattan, in the streets of various cities across the world, because we want to propagate the message of Aba Abdullah. We want to tell the world. We are so impressed and touched by the message, we want to show the world what we have. Even tomorrow we'll be doing the Arba'een walk here to reenact the experience. And we are so impressed, we are so touched by the message, and we're always discussing amongst ourselves, how can we propagate and share with the world the beauty of the message that we have? How do we do it? And on this note, our sixth holy Imam, Imam Ja'far ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq alayhi salam, he beautifully says in Usulul Kafi, one of the most profound and simple yet concise and to the point hadith you will ever come across on how to propagate the message of Ahlul Bayt. He says, Kunu du'atan ila anfusikum bighayri alsinatikum. He says, invite to your ways, but without your tongues. So hold on a second, Mom. How am I supposed to invite people to our ways without my tongue? Without speaking? How is that possible? And in that same hadith, the Imam shares, he says, يَقُولُ عَلَيْكَ بِالتَّقْوَى اللَّهِ والورع والاجتهاد والصدق الحديث وأداء الأمانة وحسن الخلق وحسن الجوار. He says, I advise you to be mindful of your duty to God, to restrain from the worldly desires, to be truthful, to do ijtihad, to work hard, to fulfill your trust, to have good character, to be kind to your neighbors. So Imam is saying, invite to our ways, but not the type necessarily in the beginning that you need to proselytize to the world. You don't need to use your tongues. He says, invite how? With your character, with your actions, with your transactions. That's why every act of worship that we perform